Hello, welcome to my sewing room and welcome to Friday Sews. My name's Christine and this is Christine Sews a Lot. On Friday Sews, we talk about what we've been sewing, what our upcoming sewing plans are, and a little bit about life. If you enjoy that format, please do check out the hashtag Friday Sews in the YouTube search bar and you'll be introduced to lots of great sewing vloggers. So what I've been sewing, I have completed 2 items this week that I can show you. One is almost complete. So that's sewing 3 items. The first is the Mandy Boat Tee. I sewed it in this cotton spandex. It's a very inexpensive fabric. I bought it last year intending to make pajamas for my granddaughter. Never did get around making them. She was still a pretty small baby at the time. So I decided to make a Mandy Boat Tee. I love this t-shirt pattern, but I found that the boat neck was just too wide on me. It came out to here, so my bra straps were showing no matter how I fidgeted with it. And I thought, well, let me just bring that neckline in some and cover up my straps and I'll be good to go. Some things I love about this pattern. It's a big, oversized, boxy fit through the bodice, but the sleeves are more narrow and fitted. Now, I made my first Mandy Boat Tee as part of the Sew Frugal 22 challenge. I made one for me, I made one for my mother, and I loved them, and I was so sure that I wanted to sew some more, but with this being a 3/4 length sleeve, I wanted to wait till it got a little cooler, which it finally has in the Charleston, South Carolina area. So I broke this out and I thought, well, I'll just move the neckline in. So I pulled out my pattern and let me show you what I did. So this is a free pattern by Tessuiti Fabrics and I sent it off to be printed. And here's one of the bodice pieces. This is the front, and you'll notice it comes in 4 sizes, 1, 2, 3, 4. I sewed the size 4 for me, and I sewed the size 2 for my mother. And I looked at these triangles. Let me bring it a little closer. Excuse the rustling. If I figure out how to edit that out, I will. So we have these triangles, which is going to be our end point of our neckline. And I measured the distance from the top of the triangle to the bottom for each of them. And it was all the same height. So I thought, well, you know what I'll do? Instead of doing this 4, I'll do the 1. And here's my centerfold. And then that will bring in, I think, about 1.5 inches or so. If I did that, maybe just 1 inch. It didn't work out too well. I didn't put too much thought into it, which is always a mistake. When I look for an easy cheat, it usually doesn't work for me. I did take the time to measure the difference between these, but what ended up happening was the neckline came all the way up to here on me. I mean, it completely covered this part of my throat and it felt like it was strangling me. So I thought, well, that's not gonna work. I didn't want to unpick absolutely everything. So what I did was I turned the front in on itself exactly in half to see if that would give me some relief here, and it did. So I unpicked the stitching here at the shoulders just enough to turn the front neckline in, and it's not the greatest fix. It's a fix to make this wearable, and I pulled this out of the dirty laundry hamper. That's why it's wrinkled. I have worn this several times, and I will wear it, but before I make another one, I'm gonna properly adjust the pattern so that I can get a comfortable boat neck, maybe dip it down a little bit and bring it in and have a good reason for doing what I'm doing other than this looks like an easy cheat. So this is the first thing I made. The next thing I made, if you saw my first day of work outfit or follow me on Instagram, you will have already seen it, and that's my Cleo Pinafore. Let me get that for you. I made the Cleo Pinafore by Tilly and the Buttons in this Ruby Star Society cotton linen mix. It's 80% cotton, 20% linen. It's called Snip Snip, and it's cute as can be. I love this. I've worn this a couple of times already. I did wear it to my first day of work and got so many compliments on it. Let me bring it in closer so you can see the fabric. I had debated on which patch to put on the chest pocket, and I decided to go with this lilac lavender colored sewing box because I thought it would lighten up the pinafore a little bit, since I will probably typically wear it with a black t-shirt and leggings. Super cute, super comfortable. I did make a few adjustments to the pinafore based on some recommendations that Karen from So Little Time had, and so I totally got this from Karen. I did not want my Cleo Pinafore to kind of creep up as I walk, because I would mostly be wearing this with tights. So what I did was I followed Karen's recommendations, and to my pattern piece, I angled it out and added an extra 1.25 inches in width, and I just found a point here, angled it out to bring it more of an A-line shape, and then I made sure I matched my sides of my front piece with my back piece so that this seam would line up. I'm super happy with it. Now, I had mentioned in my last Friday sews, I think, how I was going to line the pinafore, and I picked out some fabrics, so let me show you. I had every intention of lining this pinafore so that my tights would just slide easily and the dress wouldn't creep. I found on my baby cord version that it would creep a little bit with tights, and I did a little research and I thought, okay, I'm going to line this. So I had this koi polyester, very slippery print in my stash, and I got too excited about how cool this would be on the inside of the pinafore. When I pulled it out, I felt it, and it has no stretch whatsoever. And I told myself, Christine, I don't think this is a good choice for a lining. I didn't listen to myself. I went ahead and sewed it up, and I'm glad I did, because I did think this would be super cool on the inside and a fun little surprise just for me waiting inside my dress, but it didn't work. I thought I might be able to get away with this because the dress, the way it sits on my body, I did not think that the lack of stretch would come into play, or I hoped it wouldn't. I sewed this up, I slipped it on to see how it would work. Oh my goodness. When I went to sit down, let's just say it was not comfortable, nor was it flattering. I knew that it would be a disaster if I put this inside the dress. So I went ahead and finished sewing up the dress because I wanted to wear it for my first day of work, thinking I could take some seams apart and insert another lining if I felt like I needed one, and I don't. It does not creep whatsoever. I have worn it twice for full long days, walking and going about and standing and sitting and everything you would want to do in a dress, It did not creep one bit. I think the corduroy creeps a tiny bit just because of the nature of that particular fabric. And if I were to make another pinafore in corduroy, then I would definitely need to line it. But making it in this linen cotton blend, I don't need to line it. So that was a real pleasant find and a great thing to add to my wardrobe. So the other thing that I made this week that's almost complete is for the challenge hashtag SewUpCycle22. That's being run by Becky from Notes from the Sewing Room and Karen from Sew Little Time. I cut up a t-shirt dress, the Laundry Day tee by Love Notions, that I wasn't wearing at all, and turned it into the Harem Romper by Brindelle and Twig. All that is left for me to do is to put in some snaps up here on the shoulders, and it is finished. I'm really anxious to send this off to my granddaughter for the kids to try it on her, because I think it's a super pattern. It's really quick. It's really easy. I did it all on the serger or overlocker, other than the top stitching. I did use Mariflex thread. You wouldn't need to for top stitching, but it gives me just a little extra comfort for dressing a wiggly little girl to top stitch in that. So I wanted to put some cute snaps on that weren't plastic snaps. I ordered some pearl metal snaps from Cam Snaps, and when they come in, I'm going to insert the snaps onto this. Pretty excited. If they like this and want more, I will be making the baby some in like sweatshirting and French terry. That'll be really cozy for the winter time. So that's what I've made. My upcoming plans, I need to trace out some patterns, cut out some patterns, and I want to make some more things for myself. I love the Nina Lee South Bank sweater dress. That's what I'm wearing today, but I need to size down. As you can see, I have a lot of fabric under my arms. I have loads of fabric here. I've got a lot of positive ease all throughout the dress. I think I like where it hits over the hips, so I might do a little bit of blending there, but I will otherwise size down, and I want to make more of these. Maybe 2 more of these. I love this pattern. I've made 2 dresses and 2 tops, and I want more. So some things I was considering. I bought this fabric because I saw Adam from Adam Sews sew up a couple of things with this fabric. Well, I love the color. I love the Frenchie. It's really kind of a nice quality. So I bought this from Minerva with the intention of making myself a Jara sweater, but I think I'm gonna lay out my pattern pieces and see if I can squeeze out a South Bank out of this. I was really surprised how little fabric I could get a dress out of, and this is wide, so I'm gonna try that. If I can't, it is definitely gonna be a Jara sweater. The other fabric that I have is this green, and I love this color. I'm not sure that I have enough of this. I bought this intending to make a Nico top out of it. So if I don't have enough for the South Bank sweater dress, this will become a Nico. It will definitely become the South Bank sweater dress. It is not particularly expensive fabric. There's a little bit of polyester in with the cotton. It's a French terry. So when I do my new pattern size, I'll sew it in this first to test it out, see if I need to make any adjustments, and then move on to one of the other fabrics. If you've been following my channel, you'll know my life update is that I started a part-time job at a sewing studio. I'll be working just a couple of days a week. I'll be teaching classes. I will be selling sewing machines, fabric, notions, that kind of thing. And I have to say, I am surrounded by temptation. It is going to be a real challenge not to spend more than I earn. But the main thing is I'm getting to meet people. I'm getting to meet other sewists. The staff is great. I really am enjoying their company, so I'm looking forward to it. It's a good thing. The other thing that I have been working on is I am preparing for Adam and Allison's challenge that's coming up in November, a gift to November. So I have spent a good bit of my time working on some small projects and picking and choosing some projects that I'd like to highlight. If you think you might be interested in participating in a gift to November, I'll insert some information here. Or if you are going to be sewing some gifts and want some ideas, follow this challenge. I do have a couple of playlists on my channel that include items that would be great for gift giving, and I'll put a link up here and also down below. In November, I'm going to bring you a bunch of new content on what you can sew or make for gift giving season, whether it's Christmas or another gift giving occasion. For gift making ideas, I'm linking some I've already published here. Until next time, I hope you have a joyful week and that you find the good in all things, especially sewing. Bye.